Alright, I think that should be better. Okay, as I was saying, and my mic was not picking me up, I decided to do a little painting photo study. I started on a mushroom. I already made a mushroom one before, but I wanted to do another one because there's a little mushroom painting. I mean, painting that has a lot of mushrooms that I want to make, and I just kind of want to, check out the vibe, the whole thing. Not exactly sure how. Like in my head, I know how to do it, but like I don't think it would really just look that good. And I thought some studies of mushrooms would, be good. Or in this case, this one mushroom. So I usually start with the furthest point, which at the moment is this very blurred background. These kind of backgrounds are kind of fun to make because like they don't really have any specific pattern that they need following. You can just like do your own thing. I need that a little darker. And for most of it, like an airbrush is completely fine. There's also this like soft light brown area here. Hello Mia, hello, welcome. Welcome. At the same time, like these blurry areas are easy, but they're also harder to do, I feel like. It's like you don't really have an exact point, it's just kind of shapes that get lost in the blur of the other shapes. Like the sun like hitting the thing there. Versus like the little mushroom in front. It's quite different. How's it going, Mia? But what are you up to? Usually I like taking more bluer tones for the background because usually things that are further away, because of our atmosphere, become more blue than when they're closer. And generally things that have a more bluish tint I tend to like more versus some other colors. You can like, depending on where your thing is situated, you can of course use other colors. We have a little more yellowish tones over here. They're kind of just chilling there. Probably some light hidden the bushes or something, but it's kind of blurry, so we can't quite tell. But since it's like a shot from below, it's probably some bushes. Might even be some grass or something. This one. That. Now sometimes I also blend these more because then you get the extra blurriness. You don't want to blend everything, of course, but oh, nice. Did you like do two versions, or do you like the second version you did more than the first version you did? Here, for example, in this image, if I like use my pointer, it's gonna show it's in a really darker tone, but we don't wanna make it that dark. We still want it to be more greenish than the kind of more yellow or brownish that they went. We can also use like blues as well. I don't really strictly follow the colors of just enough. Also found that trying to follow the colors of like most photo images doesn't really give it the same spice, I guess. Did I say color? I meant photos. Because like in the photo, obviously they look better, but they don't really look that good when you're trying to paint them. So just spicing it up with your own colors usually works pretty well for that. Okay, so here we want, they have this little, see how big, maybe a little lighter. And we're gonna lower that opacity because there's ones very opaque. It's also much more on the lighter side. I mean, there's not opaque quite enough. I meant to say transparent, not opaque. Which version that you may do like more? So they also have a little line here. That opacity more. Like that. And I'm gonna that a little bit. Now, since I also want to have a time limit, I can't spend too much time here in the background. Usually I would spend more time. We're just gonna do a few more things I think would probably make it look better. Like the little yellow over here. Yeah, just need to lower that. Probably need a different brush for that. If there's too much texture in the background, just gotta blend it out a little. Because most background, if it's like blurry, don't really have a lot of texture. It's not really something you're gonna find. Especially, I mean, if you look at the image, really the only texture is just these little bubbles, I guess. This one looks blue to me, but it's not really blue. But that never stopped me before. Certainly not gonna stop me now. So these ones are smaller though, so we're gonna do that. Do it like that. Probably need a little bit more closer to this, like that. There we go, that's a little better. I'm gonna make it a little lighter. Maybe more lighter. Okay, so here we have a little, as you can see there, it has a little more saturation to it. We can use a different. Okay. Just let me know if I'm like too quiet or something. I don't really pay too much attention to that, so I'm not sure. Okay, so here we also have a little one that's of that color, like right there. Right. It's a little lighter actually. There we go. Okay. So doing that. It also has a little bit more of these, so we're gonna add a little bit of those for the spice. Sounds fine to you? Alright. It's good to hear. I actually started the stream and you couldn't hear me. So I kind of check occasionally to see if everything's fine, and I was like, hold up, my mic's not picking me up. So in comparison to this and this one seems, yeah, darker. Oh, that's fine. It's a little too dark. My liking. At the moment. Now this is just more darker parts over here, so we're gonna push these arcs a little. Just get them a little bit in there. Sometimes when you're painting an image, blues don't really seem dark enough, even though they tend to be. But oftentimes I just change it to maybe a brown or something. It gives a much darker feel to it than the blues one. Even if they're like the same value, they still kind of dance around the thing. Okay. I can't fiddle with the background too much anymore. Well, that part of the background. Now we go to the second background, which is all the way blurry. So that one is gonna be a little more rough because it has more defined blurry shapes, if that makes sense. So we're just gonna go a little bit like that. Also, I had to move my avatar so you could see most of it. Probably shouldn't flip this because then you can't see the paint. Okay. A little dance around. Now this background ground has a lot of colors. So the best way to figure out where they are, for example, is when we zoom out, we're going to see that dark. We're just using the airbrush because it's very blurry. Normally you don't really want to do that if you want to have detail. But we don't really have detail, obviously, in the background, so that's what we're doing. This one has dark there, dark there. They're darker in the image. We're gonna darken them up. We just wanna kind of place them in. It also has darker here. I feel like when painting ground or something like that, usually adding, I don't know, purplish or dark purple pink colors tend to feel like it livens it up a little. So I like kind of adding a little bit of that. Okay, so those are the major those areas. Now we have the major. Now we wanna. Okay, now we wanna darken. I use this brush for that. Yeah. The reason I'm lowering opacity because this brush, it's kind of nicer when layering it that way. Feels more like a blurred image when you do it that way when it's lower opacity. But it's still the color you picked, and you just gotta press a little harder, and yeah. And then you can usually raise a little bit of that opacity because you wanna darker at certain places. Alright. I was thinking of playing games or maybe streaming Hollow Knight again, but I'm like, Like with Hollow Knight, I basically finished the game already. I could stream the Pantheons, I guess, but like, I get too focused on trying not to die that I don't think it would be that interesting. But I feel like I'm making some progress in the Pantheon of Hollowness, at least. So these are the dark areas. Now we want to go with the... This is already midtown, but we want to go a little... Let's see that town. Yeah. Sometimes I do a color picker to compare the colors. You can see that this color is much darker on the background I chose than this one. So this one would still work better for the painting that I'm currently doing. You kind of want to see how close or how far off you are, so you know. I generally usually seem to pick lighter colors than they are in the painting. I don't know actually how much that impacts when I paint normally. Probably does. Probably maybe doesn't make a lot of contrast, I would assume. So I always gotta fiddle with options. I don't feel like contrast is too difficult for me, I guess, when I'm doing traditional painting. But when I'm doing this type of painting, it's like, it gets lost. I don't know, digital feels hard for me, bro. To understand, to conceptualize in my brain. Okay, here we're gonna add a little bit more dark because this area here is much darker. Like that. spend too much time. I gotta keep reminding myself that I do want to have a time limit. Oh, this is Krita. The one and only free program that I use. I mean, there's also Firefox. Yeah, not Firefox, Fire something. Fox something? I don't remember now. I forgot now what it's called. Which is the one that I didn't. I tried it a little bit, but I don't know, it didn't feel right. This one has a lot of brushes. This is just the brushes I like, but this one has a lot of brushes, a lot of textures, a lot of which usually I know that most people who teach art are like, don't use textures right away because you need to learn how to do everything with a round brush. Because if you know how to do it with a round brush, then the texture is just gonna come in handy. And I understand that concept. I get it. Like, I understand where they're coming from. But as somebody coming from traditional art, I just want my textures, man. I want my textures. I can't not have textures. It drives me insane. Alright, which is also why I don't really often do. I think that's bright enough. Yep. Which is also why I don't often do cell shading. This is okay. This one's on the side. Getting that smudging. Smudge that around, and then we're gonna repeat that. The color we originally chose. That's the brightest one in the image up there in the background. Well, one of the brightest spots, but yeah. And now here, they actually have brown that's more red. Not obviously as red as I'm making it out, but yeah. A little darker. Okay. Added a little red. Actually, maybe not there that much. Okay, they also have a little bit of red here. Definitely not as light as I'm making it out. Maybe I should go a little darker. This background is a whole ass blurry mess. Now here they actually have a little bit of green, or like that kind of green, kind of blends more. Okay, now we need to make this even darker. Not dark, but yeah. This part here is not that important because it has this chunk of earth that's gotta be covered. So it doesn't really matter. But we probably want to make some parts of this darker. So, let's go like that. Okay. It's a little, okay, so they have that really orange spot right there. Maybe not that orange, like that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna change to this one. Maybe not saturated enough. Like a brush. Yeah, kind of like that, I think. I'm not sure it's quite right positioned in the painting like it is in the other one, but oh well. That's not that important. Okay, there's a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Okay, so now we're gonna add a little bit more of these dark spots, making them darker because okay, there's that. As I said, this one here isn't too important because we're gonna have that ground over it. This part here is dark, so I think it's probably better if we do it like this. Now, the issue with this one here is it's not really blended back in everything around it, so we're just gonna go with this a little bit over it because we basically want it to lose its edge because these don't really have their edge there, but we still want it to be a place it gets darker, so I feel like it's a little tricky to do. Especially over here. This one is even darker. I like this program. It's free. You can also animate in it. It's got a lot of stuff that you can do. A lot of texture, a lot of brushes. They have, I'm pretty sure, most things that any other drawing program has. Some things I know that are a little more difficult to do. Like you gotta go through, oh, you gotta first do this and this and this, and then you're gonna get that. But I don't think I'm a very good candidate to talk about how good this program is or not. I am the one using it, I get it, but like, I feel like I'm still new to digital art and I'm not really fully equipped to understand everything that I am or am not using that a program can offer. So, yeah. So here, make it a little more. Okay. So we're probably gonna go back a little bit more there, but now we gotta move on because I don't think we're gonna have enough time to do this. I'll probably extend my time because I'm a cheater, but okay. Actually, I usually paint on the same layer most of the time, but when I'm doing these kind of shots, I want it to be separate enough so I can fix mistakes and stuff like that that only concern this one layer. Which also comes in handy when you don't want the layer to interact with the layer behind it or in front of it or whatever, which I'm sure most people who do digital art already know. Let me just go back here. Do a little bit of that. Okay. It's probably the vibe. Going back to this one. Now this is a more precise layer. There's still not a lot of detail because there's not a lot of except on the mushroom. So this ground basically just gonna have a few texture parts as it's not very detailed, but the main part here is actually the mushroom. So we're gonna go with, I don't want to go too light right off the start. A little more red, a little more, I don't even know. We'll do it like that. Yeah. I think most people have a preferred like thing they paint. I mean I understand people like Photoshop, and Photoshop has a lot of things it can do and people very often use it for painting. A lot of people actually. But it's, I don't know, to me it's like it's both expensive and you do it like a monthly fee to use it. Like it's not a one-time purchase, which I always thought was really weird with software, how you gotta keep buying it. Because like if you use, I don't know, a software that's $20 for 20 years, that's a lot of money. Like if you pay every month, you know? That's not a one-time buy. I know there's some software that's a one-time buy. which I can't remember the name of now, but I think it's one that Japanese artists use a lot. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think so. Which is like, okay, I don't know, you pay $150. I know some of them are expensive, some of them are less. But it's like worth your purchase. You buy it and you're good. You know, you're gonna have enough time. You're gonna use it, and those $150, it's gonna be repaid by the hours and hours you're gonna spend in using this. So it's, yeah. In that sense, I can understand people investing in software that is, let's say, more professional but also expensive, right? I get that. But software like, I don't know, like I always thought people buying Photoshop like that is really weird because it's really expensive as well. But then again, I probably at the time when it came out, there wasn't a lot other programs to be used that weren't really glitchy or something. So I get it. Okay, so the little brown we did here kind of got lost. So I'm gonna go back into the background a little bit again. And the good thing about layers is that you can just paint and they doesn't get lost anymore. Ha ha ha. Okay. Here. I think what's it called? I think Huda has a place where you could donate if you really like their product, and I think I like that better than like if you really like something, you're like, okay, I get this for free, but I really like the effort these people have put into this, so I wanna give some money. I like that approach. That's like, if you're broke and you can't pay for some other more expensive programs, then you can use free ones, and then when you do get money, you can be like, okay, listen, I really liked your stuff. I couldn't, support you in any way before, but now I can. I mean, obviously, they're not forcing anybody, or like when you start up Kuda, you're never gonna get, consider donating, which is, again, I guess it will be fine too. It's like, they're just like, hey, we kind of do this thing, please help. Well, not in that sense, obviously. But. Okay. So here, so this, I painted it kind of light, so I'm gonna make that darker. Oops. I want to do that. I don't like that color. Let me figure this out. This is still mostly like light for the most part. Okay. I'm gonna zoom in a little so I can observe this mushroom. Okay, so it has a pretty, I think, darker here. I don't think it's that dark, but it's fine. It's fine. Mushrooms are so weird. Both like, I don't know, in appearance and biologically, I guess. Little weird things. Weird critters, weird creation. This one is more orange, I feel like. Okay, we're gonna do this because I think that's the color that's a bit more closer. Do like that. Do like that. Obviously, we don't want the cap to interfere. it's a little too red. It's a little too bright. Okay, yeah, that one's alright. Kinda. Okay. Just wanna put those down a little first. Now we're also, I think I need to change a little bit of shape of that cap. It's a little, it's not quite right. Oof, looking at the clock, seeing how much time I got left. I need to hurry this. So probably needs a little more straighter edge, probably. Or I guess not in this stage at least. It's gonna be the background when we get to it, I guess. Alright, now we want this here. It's a little dark. Like that. So, okay. Now, this one has a very specific light source, but it also has from this side the blue. So we're first gonna do the blue one. It looks very bright, so I'm not sure how well there's gonna. Oops. It's gonna look. Something like that, and then. Oh wait, why did I go to green? It's kind of ugly. It's also a little bit purple, I feel like, so I'm gonna do a slight purplish tint over here. Probably purple because it's the blue hitting the mushroom, which gives it the color. Okay, do that like that, and then use the little purplish tint over there. It's a little too low too, so. Okay. Now this one has a very, I think I'm gonna use this. It's a pretty orange hue over here. Maybe like this. There we go. Most of the art, I feel like, is just trust the process. Because it looks ugly most of the time until it stops looking ugly, or at least starts looking presentable. Now we want this to be brighter. Probably not bright enough. Okay, let's check here. Yeah, here it's way brighter. Okay, let's go even brighter. I think this is a little further up here. Little shape. Okay. Okay, now here in the middle we actually have kind of yellowish, orange tint, I guess. Probably orange, more orange than it is yellow. Oops, like that. Probably from all the sun hitting our little mushroom. Okay. Okay, so we're probably gonna go a little bit more over that. I want to go with this big one. Now this one has, okay, we can also check the little colors we have. How far are we off? Well, we're not really that far off, I think. This one probably has a little darker, yeah. A little darker reddish here, yeah. I guess coloring things a little lighter probably is an issue because then I don't make them dark enough. Whoops, that's on me. Okay, like that. This one's probably good enough for this one as well. Usually following like the lines of the object's gonna give you some indication of certain, I guess, shapes, and gives a little texture. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it works, you know. Works better when in traditional than in digital, but okay. So that's the little dark boy. So it's mainly okay, so it has a whole very bright yellow here. We're gonna just put in, just gonna put it in, down. Probably to alter a little in a bit, but for now we're just gonna put it down. So we have the main light source over here. How's your painting going? Are you having any issues with light? I think we'll probably can. Yeah, so here's where that background thing should come in. Like that. Probably needs be a little more thick. Okay. Now this cap has really nice blue top, bluish, purplish, I guess. So we're going to try and get that as well. Oops. It's a little more darker. There we go. Well, it also has a blue tint from the side. I'm not gonna lie, that stem kind of be looking ugly, but it's fine. To study anyway. So it's kind of like this. So this one has a very, I think, slight color overlap there. Probably has more overlap because it has a like pinkish color there. And now we also have the blue. Comes on the side. We need to fix that there. It needs to be more rounded, I think. Alright. So it actually has this color here first. Actually, not that dark, I think. Not that light, not dark. one's fine. This one needs to be more straight. Let me just tell this real quick. Alright. Oops. Okay, so now this also has a lot of pinkish stones. Very much. A lot of them. On this side. Yeah, like that. It's one of super bright tones, which we're gonna add at the end. This one, okay, this on the side is not as prominent as I made it, and this side is darker than I made it. Okay, I think I need to make that a little, do it this way. Okay. Do. Take a little more of this scratchy one to. You could probably use this one, this brush. Just make it smaller. Okay. Maybe even more smaller. Brush sizes are hard. Now that we have that, here we actually want to take like that color to do a little outline here, and we can get a more orange, I think, and probably dark. Not that dark, I think. Like that. Barely has any breathing room. Okay. Up here. I want this to become a glowy mushroom. Alright. Then, okay, so this one is more orange. Bright orange, question mark. I need to lock the layer in. It has a bit of an orange here as well. Alright, so what are the main colors in? I gotta do a little. So we want perhaps this color, maybe. So maybe the one that I've already checked. could use this one, but it's too unreliable, I think. It's more about the smearing, I think. Yeah. Let's see what other brushes. Let's use this. Maybe. This would probably be useful if it had more stripes in the middle. Oh, no, let's go with this one. Let's see. Nope. That was the one I already checked. I think it's probably gonna work the best. Okay, like that. A bit of that gray bedazzle. You know, for some reason it crossed my mind. I really just like when there's like a show when the child is like upset at their parent for something, right? And their parent, I don't know, they did something basically, I wouldn't say inexcusable, but they fucked up and they don't want to apologize, basically, right? That's the kind of the premise. I don't actually remember where exactly kind of shows up, but I feel like I've seen it a lot. It kind of sticks in my head. And there's this moment where the child needs to learn that their parents are also human and they can mess up. And the parents never apologize. Like, they just don't apologize. The child just needs to learn, oh, parent the parent, I guess, you know? I really dislike when that happens, because it's like, they didn't even say sorry. They don't care. Like, you're just letting it go for no reason. Because you need to, like, because you learned a valuable lesson of your parents are never gonna apologize, and it's completely fine because they're also human. Humans make mistakes. Yes, people make mistakes, but when they make them, they should also apologize. You know? I don't know. I just really don't like when that happens. It really bothers me. I don't really know why exactly it really bothers me. It just does. It's like, oh, so I guess you learned that your parents are not perfect. Wow, but your parents also never apologized either. What a great lesson. You know? And it's always the child also apologizing most of the time. Like, and when I say child, it can be child of any age. They don't necessarily, like, they're usually teenagers, I think, in these kind of shows. But it's like, okay. Wow, great parents. Never apologize to your kid. Make them always feel guilty, because, oh god, you're such a human. And it really bothers me. It kind of ruins the whole thing for me, and I never end up liking the characters' parents, even if they end up having like a good relationship. I think. After that, I'm just like, no, bruh, no, no. Yeah. Let's get this over here. There's also other tropes that I'm like bothered by. It's a lot of the time like somebody's being in some way really mean to the person, or I don't know. It's just always expected from the protagonist or whoever is being either bullied or whatever the case is, right? It is always kind of expected from them, like they should be the bigger person and forgive this person who's basically a bully. Like, why? Okay. I need to. Where's my? Here it is. And I'm like, no, you don't need to forgive anybody if you don't want to forgive anybody, and especially if they never said, sorry. I don't know why. It's just so bothersome when that happens. It's like, I hate it. And I never feel like it's something that they both learn, I guess. Like, it's not a lesson that they both need to go through and then eventually come to a conclusion that, okay, we both acted like, you know, negative towards each other, or we both acted like childish or whatever. And so I'm sorry for acting a certain way, right? It's never like that. It's always like, oh, I guess this guy's gonna apologize, and this guy's gonna be like, oh, it's not a problem, blah blah blah. I hate it. I hate it here. And that part is just no. Stop forgiving people for bullshit that they didn't even say sorry for. I think these are leaves here, but I'm not gonna draw those. I don't think I even have the time. I don't got a lot of time. Okay, so the main the main thing I'm gonna do here now. Add a little bedazzle. That little sun boy. Say, oh, this one's really good for that. Oh yeah, what I was saying was, and it's never a lesson that they both learn. It's always a lesson that only one of them learns, and the other one just gets off scot-free, chilling, not caring. It's like, bruh. Okay, here. I don't know. Do you have some like tropes in TV shows or movies or anime or whatever that you dislike? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, maybe you don't think it's that deep. This one would probably benefit from this color over here. Like this, perhaps. What is this color? It's like it's pretty close to what I picked, but I don't know. Feels weird. Looks weird. Feels weird. Is weird. I mean, I don't want to. What do you mean regret it? Like, I don't want them to get into a fight or curse each other out, or I don't know. But it's like, if you're learning, oh, that people can be flawed and that, you know, people make mistakes, that's completely fine. And if it comes like to a point where somebody who's close to the character does something and the character's really not okay with it, I want the person to at least apologize. Like, why do you forgive somebody who didn't even say sorry, you know? Like, why? You're just putting yourself in a position of being, like, walked over in the future because this person knows now that no matter what they do, you'll forgive them because you're being a better person, or, you know, it's just, like, get out of my face with that. That's some lame-ass writing or lame-ass people and everything. I just don't like those. Because, as I said, like, the character is not actually going through any, what's called, character development. Like, he's just, oh, whoop-de-doo. I kind of made a mistake over here. I'm not even going to say sorry. My kid's just going to learn that, you know, I'm a flawed human being and love me regardless. You know? It's not about revenge or anything like that. that sort actually. But it's just like, stop forgiving people who don't care. Like, why would you forgive? There's no reason to. The person was just being mean to you for no reason, and you asked them to stop, or I don't know. I mean, there's some shows where, the person shows regret, and sometimes the person forgives, and sometimes they don't, and, like, that's fine. Like, you can forgive, you don't have to forgive, but at least get an apology, And I think I mainly mean that in a sense of family members. I feel like it's really normal or common, or I don't know how to exactly say it. The family members don't really apologize. They're like, oh, the kid's just gonna forget about it. Who cares? Like, say sorry to your kid, bro. Not you. I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying in general. It just sounded weird the way I said it, so I wanted to clarify. On this to be darker. I mean, sometimes, between brothers and sisters and stuff like that, oftentimes there are usually no apologies said, and people just keep on going as they keep on going, and they forgive each other, and, like, that's I guess a sibling dynamic that I can understand, right? It's like siblings rarely apologize unless they really, really messed up or something like that, Like, under that dynamic, I'm like, okay, that is, I guess, realistic in a sense. It's common. I can see it. But this whole journey of rediscovery that your parents are human, blah blah blah, and then you should just forgive them for no reason, then I don't really buy that. That one's like, nah, bruh. And especially, like, I don't know, just stop forgiving people, bro. Wow, the message, bro. Stop forgiving people. Who needs forgiveness? Okay, so normally this would be about time that I would need to stop painting because my hour has passed and this is the end result. But I'm gonna paint a little bit more anyway. Yeah, but it's not about that. It's not about that. Like, okay, I see your point. Like, I see it. I mean, you're right. Low key, right? Like, if you're being a better person, you don't need an apology, obviously. But if it's a person you want to have a relationship with, right? Like, you can easily be, okay, this person did this and this. They clearly don't care, so I'm just gonna move on with my life. And, you don't need an apology if you move on with your life. This person, whatever they're doing, is what they're doing, right? It doesn't really matter. But I mean it more in a sense of, like, your family members, your cousins, your aunts, your mother, your father, like, in those sense. Most of the time, I mean, most people don't want to cut off, or just completely disengage from a family member that was a horrible person in some way or another, right? Didn't really get to a point where, they would deserve a second chance, I guess, would be the, like, I'm not advocating here for never forgive anybody or anything like that. No, not at all. It's just people expect you to forgive them often just on the basis that, that they're like that, right? Like, they don't need to apologize. Like, they don't need to do something to fix some big mistake that they did, right? That's basically my point here. It's not like oh, never forgive this person, blah blah blah. No, it's like, if you're not going to forgive this person, or if you will forgive this person but don't want to hang out with them anymore, or don't want to interact with them anymore, or it ruined your relationship with them in some way or something like that, I get that. Like, you're like, okay, I forgave, but I'm not going to forgive because you were a piece of shit at some point and you kind of ruined, I don't know, something. I get that. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm mainly talking about people who don't want to, just disassociate with their family members or something. But the family members never were like, oh, whoops, I guess I was kind of a piece of shit. But I'm not gonna apologize though. Ha ha ha. You know? More in that sense. Not in the sense of, oh, just keep it in, just keep thinking how they did this bad thing. No, not in that sense. It's like, no, you don't have to forgive somebody for no reason. That's basically the point. Like, you don't have to accept their nonchalantness or them just being like, oh, whatever. I did this, but I'm just gonna ignore it and pretend it goes away, and you're gonna take it because you learned to take it, blah blah blah. You know? Because that's the vibe I get from these shows. That's the vibe. Like, it's not the vibe, oh, I keep being hung up on this thing. No, it's just like, this person expects to be forgiven purely on the basis that you're related to them. You know? If that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. I can also, I guess, measure how much more I'm gonna spend on the painting, so I know how much I needed to get it to where it was, or is, or whatever. I mean, like, did you never have in your personal life, for example, somebody who just was a dick to you? You know? See, that's what I'm talking about. I didn't even have to say because you already said that. So, like, most people don't really cut off the relationship with their family members, right? I mean, I think it's become more common lately, to be honest, though. That's probably true. But most people don't want to stop, hanging out or stop interacting whatsoever with somebody, right? And in that sense, they feel obligated to forgive and stuff like that, which I don't think needs to be. I guess I'm mainly just talking about these shows representing that, which I'm, like, annoyed by, I guess. It's like if they both go through some sort of realization and they're at the end like, okay, I was kind of a dick, and the other guy's like, okay, I was also a dick, and then it's like, okay, cool. But sometimes people just don't want to admit. They're just like, ah. They dare be angry at me? You know? Okay, I think I'll probably make the background darker so I can have the little mushroom pop out a little. Okay, that one. Okay, it's a little too dark. Maybe like that. That. Oops, not like that. Nah, I don't feel like that looks well. Okay, maybe I can make this darker to make it. I don't know how much darker can it go though. That. I think I'll probably I don't think it's there in the image, but I think I'll probably make it longer here. Because, like, these black spots are kind of messing with it. Man, it's so hard to, like, enjoy some comedy. This stream is like everything I don't like about media. Some comedy, like, not shows, series, I guess would be the right term. Is because they often have a setup that I'm gonna take a little break. You know what's gonna happen, right? You're there and you're like, okay, I see the setup, I know exactly what's gonna happen and that, but that's like, I get such strong secondhand embarrassment from that, because it's like, no, I already see where this is going. I know what's gonna happen. I don't wanna witness this. Oh, and it's always like, it's things like what's the name of that British show, like something horses. I don't remember now. That's less important. But you can always see the setup. Like, you know what's gonna happen, you know where it's gonna lead, you know, and it's like, I can't watch this. It's such a visceral reaction. It's like, I need to leave, so I don't see this. I think maybe I need to switcheroonie a little bit. Making this lighter would probably make this pop out more, but don't you hate it? Like, don't you hate it like when you see the setup? Whoops. Alright. Just checking my temperature, because I feel like I have, because it's high, but it's actually lower than it was. Okay, I think I'm gonna also do here a little bit. Oops. There's also, like, okay, I never liked Big Bang Theory, but for some reason my dad really likes it, even though, oh god, the pain while watching that show is, I think, immeasurable to anything. And half the time in that show, there's also that weird setup where you know exactly where this show is going and what is gonna be the gag of this episode, right? Like, you know what it's gonna be. Like, they literally spell it out. And god, I can't. It's so hard to watch that. I mean, aside from the fact that Big Bang Theory is really boring and really jokes fall flat, like, I don't know, they're just not it. Aside from that, so that's already a minus, right? Aside from that, it also has that little setup thing that they do. It's just like, oh no, I see where this is going, and I don't like it. But my dad finds it so funny, which brings an additional amount of pain. The betrayal of my kin. Like, then again, it's very hard for me to find a comedy I like. Even the anime I watched today, that Saint Onisan, I don't even know how much of it you watched it. It was entertaining. It was kind of funny, but it wasn't like, ha ha ha, this is so funny. I mean, there were a few moments, I'll give him that. There were a few moments that I liked that were funny. But like you see the setup. You see the setup before it happens. You know what's gonna happen. You know. You know. It's a nerd show for normies. It's yeah, it is. That's true. But even like that, it's like, wow, garbage basically. I need this cap to have a bigger cap. I even appreciate the puns that Classy makes way more than I appreciate that show. Which doesn't really, I don't think it can count for much, to be honest, saying that. It's also I've noticed, so there's a few shows that I kind of watched a few seasons of. There was that Lucifer show. It's like a semi-cop drama of some sort. I don't even know. I don't know what to describe it as. And Hannibal show, which is also kind of related to cops, I guess. This is more to cannibalism than to the cops. to be honest with you. But both of those shows become very, very, very noticeably formulaic. I think that's the word. They follow a formula really, really closely. That you are, even though, okay, Hannibal, I feel like is step above, than Lucifer. Lucifer has some comedic moments, so you can have a little laugh occasionally. But even then, I mean, sure, there were some twists that I was like, okay, I like this. I didn't see this coming, but now looking back, it kind of makes sense. Which I can appreciate. But especially Lucifer, for example, is so formulaic. Oh my god. And like, it's so easily noticeable. I mean, most shows that have multiple seasons are very formulaic. But it's in a sense of like, so Lucifer's mainly based around this devil, literal Lucifer, teaming up with a cop to solve cases, right? And in each and every episode, he has a personal conundrum that he also needs to solve at the same time because it's of some great importance of some sort, right? However, he never learns. There's some quote-unquote lessons or things he solves and things he solved. And obviously, sometimes you can't blame people for not learning right away. But sometimes things that he found so enlightening, and you think sometimes he changed, but then we just back old Lucy constantly doing the same thing, and you're like, did this man learn anything? Did the past 3 seasons mean literally nothing to this character's character development? I can't say it's a person. I'm denying characters' rights. Did it do nothing to this person's character development? And it's really bothersome because it's clear, somebody just wanted to do this one thing, and then they decided, oh well, that thing he learned past 3 seasons continuously, well, we're gonna have him do it again. Wow. And oftentimes when the repetitiveness becomes really noticeable, I just lose interest in a show. It's like, okay, whatever, I don't think I care anymore. Because like it's just kind of the same. So yeah. I mean, I guess repetitiveness sometimes can be alright if for example you know exactly what you want to watch, and what kind of vibes you want, and what kind of things you want to go through and whatnot, right? In that sense, I guess, yeah, you could be like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna watch the show because I kind of can predict what's gonna happen, and you just want to turn off your brain for most of the time, right? Okay, I get that. But like when you want to be invested in a show and you're invested 3 seasons, and then you're like, damn, this continuously is the same thing. I'm in pain. Yeah, kinda. I feel like a lot of shows are kind of like that, and I kind of like more episodic shows than shows that have like a specific, what's it called, structure or plot, I guess. I like the shows that are mostly episodic, but then you have some plot occasionally, right? Because then every episode you're gonna get a new thing. But if they're unless of course they're very formulaic, in that case, every episode you're gonna get a new crime scene, but basically everything else is gonna amount to a similar ending, right? And then sometimes when you're in your depressing mood, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna watch 14 seasons of this continuously the same thing with only a little bit of differences, because that's the vibe I'm currently going for. Which, I mean, I get it. I think probably that's why I started way back watching anime, because it's really hard to get into shows. I don't like my country shows. I don't think they're bad, mind you. I don't think they're bad, but they're just not like my cup of tea. I don't even think acting is bad or anything like that. It's just, I see the setup for the joke, and I'm gonna head out because it makes me highly embarrassed, or secondhand embarrassment when I see it coming along. But it also applies to American shows. There's some, I feel like, British shows that are like, okay, I can vibe with this. There was that one show, I forgot what it was. It was like a person getting over being cheated on or something, or a friend dying, or both at the same time. I don't remember. But that was a dope show. I like that show. Wow, shows I like, I don't even remember. Nice. Yeah. But it becomes at some point really hard to consume media when you're like when it's very predictable, I guess. It's like, you know, maybe it's just me. Because I know that there's some people who do like certain tropes that get repeated and they're like, yes, this is what I like. And this is what I'm gonna watch, right? Which is of course understandable. You wanna watch, I mean, most media is escapism media anyway, so it's what you wanna watch. If you wanna watch that, that's completely fine. I guess that also reminds me, Giguk that does anime reviews on YouTube. I don't know if you know him. I know that Doohoo knows him. I don't know if you are familiar. He loves isekais so much, and I'm like, and he okay. The thing about that is he knows how repetitive they are. He knows how similar everything is about it. That it's just the same thing every time. Just a new packaging, basically, right? But he enjoys those type of shows, and those are basically what he watches all the time. Which that part is like, okay, you get it. But when he starts saying it's good, especially some of them, oh my god, what were they saying in like a podcast they were watching? Something about let me just try to remember what they said. God, my memory's weak. What did they say, man? Oh yeah. When they recommended I can't even speak. Recommended Rent a Girlfriend, and all three of them, I think, were praising them. The Trash Takes podcast they have. I was like, okay, I'm suspicious, because Joey has like mid taste, I guess. Gagak has basically trash taste, and he knows it. And Connor's like, I don't know, he likes good mainstream shows. So I was like, okay, I'm suspicious, but I can watch it. And I watched it and I regret it. I'd never finished it, I think I watched 6 episodes just to see how quote unquote good it gets. It never got good. It was so bad. Oh my god, the cringe. Oh my god. I'm still in pain thinking about it. It was so bad. I think probably even worse than Oreimo, and I didn't even finish watching that. I think this all comes down to realizing that I'm very picky. Okay. So I think I painted like 20 minutes more than the quote-unquote the time I set for myself. I don't want to go too much over. Like 1 hour and a half for a study is probably enough. It's really hard actually making this. Maybe I should make it even darker. I don't think how dark it is. It's black. I don't know how much darker can I make this ground? Maybe over here, perhaps, to not have any contact with this background. Make the background darker? I don't know anymore. Okay, well I think I'm gonna do this for the study. I think that would be enough. A little mushroom study. Background, so maybe I should make it more blurry, perhaps. It is blurry, but not enough. Let me try that. Let's see. Whoops. Nope. Not like that. Maybe this one. It's so hard to. Okay, this one's a little better. Gotta touch a little bit of there. Make it lose a little bit of shape it has. I mean, I feel like I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite actually, because it's like I'm talking about Mushishi as my favorite show, and it's also very formulaic. Like it's an episodic show in which every episode, well, it doesn't always end the same. I think that's what is why I like it, because sometimes it's not like a show, oh, he goes around trying to fix people's ailments, which he does do, obviously. And it's all the supernatural stuff, but it doesn't always end in him realizing what it is. And then there's a little bit of plot in there. So maybe I'm a hypocrite. Maybe that's the point. I guess Mushishi is just too good. God, I wonder. Maybe, I mean, I guess every show does have a certain amount of repetitiveness to it. I guess I wonder at which point does it start to bother me. Questions. Okay. Well, it's like 1 a.m. or something. Yeah. Aw, thanks. Mushishi's just anime supernatural. Yeah. I guess that would be true. But I like supernatural. It's like, I like it in a sense, especially because it's calming and you're tired from work. You can just sit down and put an episode of Mushishi, and you'll learn every episode a little bit more about the lore of what Mushi are in that show. You learn a little, like tiny bits about our main character. You learn all about these lives of these people who are affected by this. They don't always have a happy ending, you know. These episodes, you're rooting for Ginkgo, which is the main protagonist of Mushishi, to get the cure, to fix this ailment, to figure out how to do it right. But then you don't know. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes it's like, oh, okay. Was Dean gay or not? Who was Dean? I don't remember. Dean? You mean from that game you played? I think that I also gotta handle a little bit of that. There we go. Okay. Red, so it stands out. 10 maybe? Big, small, smaller. Red is 2. I think red is 2. Attack on the eyes. Yellow? Yeah, yellow's nice. The supernatural? Oh, I don't think I ever watched that. I've seen memes about it. I don't think I ever watched it. Actually, it's not that I don't think, I'm pretty sure I never went out of my way to watch it. Right, slide that there. There we go. So I'm gonna put it on this side. Actually, never mind. Go back. Oh, is that what you mean? It's just anime supernatural? Like it's supernatural like that show? I don't know. I don't actually know. I don't think I watched it. Huh. Man, it's really hard finding stuff that I like. And there's also some stuff that I know I'll like. Or like I assume I'll like, I guess. I can't know if I like it. But then it's like you need to commit. You need to commit to it. You need to make space in your head to commit to watching it. And sometimes when that happens, I'm like, I am sorry I didn't do this earlier, basically. Oh, that's what you meant. Oh, I don't know how they relate in that sense. I have no idea, actually. So let me just put this like this. I don't know. I know that they do have those demon exorcism. Maybe? Is it like that? I don't know. Okay. Well, I think that'll be it for this stream. Thank you for watching. Thank you to anybody who joined. I hope you enjoyed my rambling about shows. And also realizing that I'm probably a hypocrite counting my favorite shows. Yeah. Thanks and bye.